Lowlife Podcast. Lowlife. Lowlife. Lowlife Podcast.
Good morning, Lowlives. It's your boy Rhino, and I welcome you to your Friday for another episode of the Lowlife Podcast. Very exciting day today, and I'm joined with my good friend Lex, aka the Eclipse, for his uncanny ability to blot out the sun on those hot summer days, standing out in the parking lot at a bike show. Welcome to the show, Lex.
Thanks, man.
First time, long time listener, first time co-host.
Oh, co-hosting.
I guess it's
We'll
co-hosting.
call it that.
call it
Yeah,
co-hosting.
Dan's not here. Yeah.
Yeah. Dan couldn't make it today. We had too much fun today, and he had to go home. But
Yeah, he tapped out.
he tapped out. But what a day it was! We got to ride motorcycles,
Yeah.
which is always really fun,
Fuck yeah. It was a good
and it
time.
was gorgeous.
It was a gorgeous day, especially in October
yeah.
in New Hampshire. Fuck yeah.
We started early, or you guys started early. I started the earliest. I was on my bike at 5 a.m. this morning. I'll tell you why. I woke up, I'm an early riser. I woke up, I went out to the garage to check on my battery. I put it on a tender because it's been getting cold, and I was like, I'm riding tomorrow morning. Everybody's supposed to be here by 10. So I come outside, battery's primo, fucking tires flat. So yesterday, I just checked the tire pressure on both my tires. The front one was a little bit low, so like 20 PSI. So I pumped it up, and after I took the hose off, I heard a slight leak, like a tss, and I was like, oh, I'll just put the valve cap back on. That'll stop that.
That's fine.
That's airtight,
Yeah.
that piece of plastic. But it wasn't. So I came out this morning, and the tire was completely flat. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? But it was leaking out the valve. So I was like, oh, well, valve core issue? Now, this is the same tire I slimed with a couple of different types of slime. So what I think happened was the slime, there was something wrong with the valve core. The slime blocked that up. And then when I blew air into it, it blew that out. So then it was still leaking. So this morning, 5 o'clock, I'm wearing camo Crocs, PJ pants, and my robe. And I took the valve core out, but it wouldn't pop all the way out. I'm spinning it, and I just heard a click, 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 click. It won't come all the way out. So I'm stuffing stuff in there. I'm trying to pick it out with
Did you use forceps or something?
I have one pair of little tiny needle nose that I had to find. I couldn't find what I needed.
Like an old roach clip kind of thing?
Yeah, it was really tiny because you have to get it in the stem and then pinch it and be able to turn it and pull it out. So, and I was like, well, if I pull this thing out and strip the threads or whatever internally, I'm fucked. I'm not gonna be able to ride today. So, but I was able to pop it out, and it had a bit of slime stuck to the end. So I replaced the core, and it was still leaking. So I just blew a little bit of air in there, and then, I just a little bit. I put my thumb over. I could feel a little bit of pressure. So I was like, okay, that's cool. So I was like, fuck it, it's getting slimed again. So I replaced the valve core, slimed it. I had just a little bit left, but on the bottle, it's oh, well, you got to ride around for 10 minutes to get it
circulate
to go.
it. Yeah, all that stuff.
So I was like, well, I'm not gonna get gussied up for this shit. I just fucking hopped on the bike. It's 5 a.m. There's frost on the ground, and I have my fucking Nautica robe flying behind me.
Video of this.
Yeah, I should have
super rhino.
I should have done it. Yeah, camo Crocs, PJ pants, and a robe, flying down my road at 5 o'clock in the morning. My neighbors are not happy with me, I'm sure. But I had to get that slime going. Yeah. And I parked it. I went up and down the road, and then I parked it, and it held. So I got to ride today.
When you said you used a couple of different types of slime, are you talking about like the name brand or like did you use Fix-A-Flat? Like, have you tried
So
that?
I haven't used Fix-A-Flat, but they have, the first thing I used was, I think for like when you're on the side of the road, it'll blow your tire up, and that didn't work. So they have one specifically for tubes, and it's just the green shit in a bottle.
Yeah.
And that worked.
All right.
So I don't know if I get really bored when I'm reading the directions, and I'm in like Tractor Supply, and I'm just like, oh my god, the print is like
Minute.
like
you can barely read
one,
it.
like a 2 font or something. So I'm just like, I'm sure it'll be fine. But I got that, and it didn't do what I needed to do. So this one was specific. It said right on the bottle like tube, and I was like, well, I got a tube, so I did that. So I'm assuming there's something wrong with. It's not the core because I put 2 brand new cores in there. It's something on the inside.
Yeah, or the stem of the tube.
Yeah, the
itself.
stem is like cracked or fucking something. So the slime enabled me to be able to ride today. So, but yeah, I was out at 5 o'clock in the morning, fucking getting that slime moving.
Yeah,
But everybody else was not far behind me. We had Plans, Fish Tank, Whiskey, Dead Kev, Dan, my new co-host, No Luck Paintworks. We just so happened to be talking to Josh from Steel City Blacksmithing. Apparently, he got the family connection out here in New Hampshire. So he was up here for the weekend just visiting, him and his girl. And we're like, let's go to lunch. What a great excuse to get all the homies together.
Beautiful location too.
Yeah.
Nice,
yeah. What is out in Newport?
Newberry.
Yeah.
No,
out by
not Newport.
Yeah, Newport's down like by like the ocean or some shit.
Sort of, but it's not.
It's not.
It's not scenic like.
It's not
Newberry,
like
Sunapee area.
Yeah.
No, that was a nice ride.
Especially this time of year, dude.
Yeah, running red lights and passing cars and shit. It was fucking great.
We were hauling ass.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
I love taking a nice leisurely ride, but it's also super fun, dude. And especially like 103, it's just like it's a 2-lane highway, and you can just crank at 70 miles an hour.
You just go.
Yeah, you just go.
Wring the neck.
And motherfuckers in shitty old trucks were pulling over for us, and they were saluting us. Like, you get mad respect.
Yeah, I was legitimately surprised
Yeah.
at the amount of respect that a group of like chopper-esque fucking custom motorcycles got on these back roads. Because a lot of times, especially when you're just riding solo, you don't get that kind of thing where they just pull over for you.
But when they see a pack of dudes, they're like, I should probably pull over.
Oh, they're going to kick my ass. Is that what they're thinking?
Maybe. It's definitely more dangerous than just one dude on a motorcycle. Because you see like one dude on a motorcycle all the time.
It's true.
Like you'll see some boomer, like bald ass boomer, not wearing a helmet with fucking like, like bifocals on in white New Balances on a road glide, a maroon road glide, and you're like, I'm not intimidated
with the dungarees on.
Yeah. But we can pass as younger people,
I'm not young, but
I'm not young either. But we can pass as that. We look youthful.
I feel youthful.
Yeah.
That's really what matters. Right?
Yeah. So the plan was to all meet at my house at 10, which Lex keeps good time. You were here around 10:30. So on chopper time, pretty good.
Yeah, no, I'm a black and white kind of
Yeah.
guy. I'm just this is how I do things.
The rest of these schmucks showed up at like 11:30.
It was almost noon.
Yeah. Very late, which is not like Dan, by the way.
And then they were like,
Dan had nothing to do with that.
And they were all like, "Oh, it was a great ride." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Which it's great. I love the fact that they had a good ride, but it's also just like, but you got people waiting for you, bud.
But we also had time to troubleshoot all the hardware problems that we've been having.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that's like.
This has been really sucky.
It's a miasma of cables and connections, and evidently, if you look up YouTube videos about how to fix things, it automatically fixes it somehow. I think it's AI going.
The AI is listening to us.
Yeah,
it's the only reason that anything gets fixed. I mean, it's been a pain in the ass. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, today was great. We went. Everybody showed up at my house, and we rode out to, peak foliage here in New Hampshire right now. Like, what is it? Second week in October or whatever. It's fucking nice.
Yeah, it is really nice. And the temperature is amazing.
It was 69 today.
Yeah, to have like 70-degree days in October.
Oh, yeah.
And back roads free of mostly leaf peepers. Like, it wasn't like we were riding the Kank or something where you're just stop and go. These are
fucking hometown people. They're just going up the road, get the dump or whatever.
Yeah.
And they move the fuck over, or you just blow past them. The ride out there, we were hauling fucking ass, and that was really nice. Fish fucking rips on that thing.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, man, you're gonna rock those fucking four speeds there. Yeah.
Dude, the 4-speed sporty, dude.
I was like,
wow, you're crazy.
Yeah. I think I also remember that from coming back from Deadbeat.
Yeah.
We're going up that massive hill where for whatever reason I was in the front and just decided to we're gonna pass everybody on this fucking hill. Mm-hmm. And he stayed right there. And I was like, God damn, dude.
He's good. He's a good rider. Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. But because I was on dude, I got a fucking Softail and he was keeping up with me. No problem. Yeah. I was having a hard time keeping up with him.
I mean, I'm on my sporty. I mean, granted, it has a cam and whatnot, but I got to wring the shit out of his neck with my 290 pounds on top of it.
Oh yeah.
You really got to hump on that thing to make it go.
That's true. 290?
Yeah.
How tall are you?
Almost 6'4".
That's tall.
It's tall. Yeah. And then, of course I'm wearing boots too. So
yeah, that helps.
Even taller, which,
must be nice.
I suppose, but everything in the world is not built for tall people. So, I mean, the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence, right?
Sometimes I get up on a step stool, just the first step, and I'm just like, this would be nice. I'm not that short though.
Oh yeah, it's nice until you can't walk through a fucking doorway, or you got to reach down to cupboards. Every countertop is well below you, so you're constantly bending over to do things.
Boo fucking ho.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd like to smash my head on every fucking ceiling fan. Not be able to fit into a fucking plane seat.
I'm just gonna start walking around carrying you up to my height and see how you like it.
I'd look down on people. That's the part I like about it. I can just be like, look how short this person is.
I can just do away with you all.
I can reach 6 feet if I have a boot with a heel.
Yeah.
Just 6, barely.
Yeah. Well, and the weird thing is my dad was only 5'10" and a half, but my mom's 6'2".
Your mom's 6'2"?
Yeah. Yeah. So she's a tall lady.
That's wicked tall.
Yeah. No, she's very tall. And then I have a daughter with a woman who's 6'1". So my daughter is 4 years old. She's over 4 feet tall.
At 4?
At 4.
That's nuts, dude.
Yeah. So we're just be a whole sea of giants running around.
The fuck, dude? Kids are wicked tall nowadays. Everybody that I know that has kids now, their kids are all wicked huge. My kids are wicked huge too. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Anybody that I'm friends with that has a kid that's a teenager, they're well over 6 feet tall.
Yeah. Genetics, environment, what we're eating, what we're drinking.
Yeah.
What is it? The microplastics.
Oh, yeah.
And water and food.
Our generation, dude, everything that I ate was out of a can, a box, or a bag. I fucking never ate fresh food in my life, dude. Our parents are boomers, so they love fucking canned this and frozen that.
I got a good mix. My stepmom, when I lived down south with my dad, she lived on a commune for 20 years, dyed in the wool, a caravan hippie. But she was a vegetarian, and she made all kinds of food from scratch, totally from scratch. And a lot of it was vegetarian, but it was delicious.
Stepmom?
Yeah. It was delicious. So I don't mind being a vegetarian if it's good, but most of the shit you get, if you're trying to just be a vegetarian out the fucking grocery store, hell no, that stuff's worse than anything else you're gonna get in the grocery store.
Yeah, dude, they're wash that strawberry for 3 seconds with cold water and get all the poison off it.
Yeah,
it's dude, it's fucking covered in poison that kills things.
And then they put extra chemicals on it to keep it fresh.
Yeah, I'm eating a banana that grew fucking 6 months ago in Borneo. It's this thing was on a fucking shipping container.
Yeah, Yeah, probably with one of those lantern moths that they have. Have you seen any of those things?
No.
A couple of years ago, I was taking a ride down to North Carolina and back within 3 days on the bike. And so it was a hell of a ride. But I stopped off in, I think it was Maryland or Pennsylvania. And those lantern flies were out, like when it was really season for them or whatever. Scared the shit out of me.
Are they big?
They're sizable. But the other thing is that like they're kind of brownish, but then when they open their wings, they're like bright red, like red as a lighter.
Oh no shit.
And they're not like scared of humans, so like you move and they don't just fly away. They stay on you. And when you're riding a bike, you're just getting fucking bam, bam, bam.
Oh, that's fucking gross.
Yeah, it was brutal.
I drove through one of those like cicada fucking whatever when they hatch like 4 billion of them all at the same time. They've been underground for like 18 years.
Yeah.
And it was fucking gnarly, dude, on the highway. Like they're big bugs, you know? Like around here, it's like, you hit a mosquito, big fucking deal. Hit the windshield wiper. But dude, like a bug that's the size of like a circus peanut. And I was in a Penske truck with the big flat top.
Oh, like a rental moving truck?
Yeah, because I was moving, and they were just like, dude, it sounded like people were pelting us with fucking baseballs, dude. Like these bugs were just like, bang! I was like, fucking gross, dude. And no, I mean, we went through like fucking 3 gallons of windshield wiper fluid because they were just exploding on the
and you're just gooping it.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, those came out when I was living down south in the mountains there in North Carolina. And when they came out, the weird thing is like, A, it sounds like a railroad is running in your yard. But B, after the cicadas start coming out, all the other animals that want to eat them come out. So you have just all these birds. It was unreal. It was amazing.
That's fucking wild, dude. Yeah, dude. The birds, they're like, that's why they do that shit, right? So they don't have any like natural predators. But you're a bird and you're like, look at this huge fucking bug. I'm going to eat the shit out of that.
Amazing. I'm going to eat this fucking giant insect.
And there's millions of them.
Yeah.
Fucking bugs are such losers, dude.
Yeah, well,
they're underground just eating like shit for 18 years and they pop up and they get eaten anyways.
Yeah, well, and there's also like restaurants that make them into meals and stuff. Like,
that's fucking disgusting.
Like actual entrees and whatnot. But like today, because it's fall in New Hampshire, ride around.
Oh yeah,
bugs.
No fucking bugs, dude. No. It was beautiful. Yeah, we went out to there's like a little Irish pub. What is it called? The Salt Hill Tavern.
I think it was Salty Hill Pub.
Salty Hill Pub.
Yeah, I would recommend their beverages.
Yeah, their beers are good.
Yep.
Bartender's nice, friendly service, but goddamn, the food was so bad.
I don't think my bacon jam had bacon or jam in it.
Dude,
there was no Chipotle in my burger.
I got a beef gyro, which like is pretty hard to fuck up. Like you can buy them frozen and like microwave them, and they're still pretty good because it's like eating a meatloaf.
Can I get a Hot Pocket, please?
Yeah, they fucking ruined it. It was so bad.
Yeah,
I mean, it didn't stop me from eating the whole goddamn thing, but
I was hungry and I already had 6-7 beers. So yeah, like, I need food.
Yeah.
Luckily though, I got those Brussels sprouts because those Brussels sprouts are really good.
Yeah. But yeah, that place fucking sucks. Don't go there hungry.
No. Thirsty's fine.
Thirsty, yeah. And again, great staff. Had a couple of I call them black velvets. She called it a Frogger or something.
Snake bite.
Oh, snake bite. I was like, dude, that's a shot. A snake bite's a shot.
Yeah, I was like, that's not what I know as a snake bite.
I've never heard
call it that as long as it comes out the right way. I don't give a shit what you call it.
I've never heard of this, but so black velvet is Magner cider and Guinness on top, and the Guinness is light beer, so it floats on top, so it's clear on the bottom and dark on the top.
Yeah, I think it's because Guinness uses nitrogen rather than like carbonation.
Yeah.
So it's lighter.
It's lighter than the
sort of like the oil
cider
thing.
Yeah. And everywhere I go, like it used to be like Strongbow Magners was like it for cider for fucking centuries, and then all of a sudden now there's like Woodchuck and all sorts of other shit.
Down East, Citizens,
and they all suck. They're all sweet as hell, But I saw that they had Magners on tap. I had Guinness on tap. I ordered a black velvet, and she's like, "Explain it to me," and I explained it to her, and she just said, "Yeah, that's called a snake bite." And I didn't want to get in a fist fight. It was like 11. It was like noon. You know,
she
and I
was
was
pretty
hungry.
tall.
She was pretty big girl. Actually.
Yeah, she was pretty tall. Like she was about here.
She was like your size.
Yeah, I was like,
she definitely
tall.
I didn't want none of the smoke, but yeah, she was nice. I mean, it was a nice place, and we got to talk to Josh. Dude, I haven't seen that kid since I guess the lowdown, like maybe 2 years ago. He wasn't at the last one.
Yeah, it wasn't at the last one. I remember him from the one prior, because he had inside the head of the like axe handles or hammers that he had. It was like a little like jingle.
Yeah,
and it just
from the brazing.
Yeah, and for some reason it just like, oh, this is so cool. Like ding ding ding, little bell.
Yeah, it was good catching up with him. I never met his brother. They look like brothers as soon as you see them. I was like, you guys are definitely related. Yeah. But we're going to have him on the show because I was talking to him today, and he's doing such cool shit.
He was talking about like
dude, fucking all sorts of cool shit.
Making jigs for
unbelievable.
Yeah, immense.
And he has the CNC machine now, so he's into all sorts of cool shit. He's just like so much more capable than he already was. So but I mean, frames, that's huge, you know. Yeah. Invaders, like such cool shit. So we're definitely gonna get him on the show. But yeah, man, it was just all around fucking. It was like the perfect fall day. Like the leaves were all golden and fucking. It was like not too cold. We got to ride. We got to speed. We got to pass people. We got to break the law.
It was kind of cold on my ride to here, I'll say that. But I did start early.
Yeah. You know, what time you left your house? Like 9 or something?
7:30.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I just, I don't know. I needed to get out and get a little bit of that therapy on the road. And
it was cold at 7:30.
Yeah. That's why I have like the heated snowmobile gloves. I find that makes like a huge difference. They look retarded. Because a huge gauntlet comes over.
How are they heated? Like a battery pack?
Yeah, they have a battery pack, and it heats the outside. But it will like extend your season pretty far. Because I can deal with like a cold face or a cold leg, but my hands I can't operate things if my hands are numb.
Yeah.
So
I used to have a pair of they were like liners, and they had a little like a cord that went to a battery pack, and they were heated, and you put them underneath whatever glove you had. And I used to ride in every morning to work, like spring through the fall, even into the winter, if it wasn't snowing out, you know? I remember this fucking asshole Bob that I used to work with. He has like, you know, Road King, white New Balances, no helmet, boomer. He's making fun of me for riding with these fucking, he's like, oh, you got your fucking tampon too? And it's like, dude, it's fucking 30 degrees when I left my house this morning. You ride your bike like 4 times a year.
I will say that, frankly, if you enjoy doing something like motorcycles or whatever, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's a positive thing in your life and somebody else is trying to fucking diss you for it, put you down, hold you down for it, fuck them. Fuck them hard.
Yeah, I remember I lost all respect for him. He was like, you know, he has like a calendar, and it has like a knucklehead, and he keeps it. It's an old calendar. He just keeps it for the picture or whatever. And I was like, "Hey, sweet bike, man. What is that?" And he's like, "That's a old Holly." And I'm like, "Yeah,
sure is."
Yeah, like
get a little bit more specific shit on that,
Bob. What the fuck? But yeah. Anyways, fucking boomers.
Yeah, my so weird side fact, because it made me think of it, is that my grandfather, he got out of the army and rode a motorcycle cross country to California, like back in the day, and ended up being a carpenter out there in California. When I was living there in California, I got to visit one of the sound stages that he had actually built, and got to see like what he built, because they still have in Ventura, one of the original stages. And I was like, this is fucking sick. Like, got to have some of that, you know, sort of history there.
Mm-hmm.
And just, I don't know, made me feel more connected to it.
Your grandfather?
Yeah.
On your mom's side or dad's side?
My mom's side.
So he's tall too?
Yeah. No, my dad's side, he's so on my dad's side, my grandfather was half Burmese.
Burmese.
It's called
Burma?
It's called Myanmar.
Myanmar now.
Yeah. But he, definitely looked like, something. He could pass for like Italian because he had like a grease back.
Yeah.
Look.
So Myanmar, is that like in Indonesia?
It's right next to Thailand.
Okay. In the archipelago.
So but because they essentially live under military rule, except for a few years, just a couple years back, there's very little information that comes out about it. They're totally closed off. There is some tourism there, but it's not like it was. At some point, I'm going to go back and get a
Were they like
there.
free before, and then they got under military rule, and that's when they changed the name?
So I think they changed it in the 90s or 2000s. I think, during that, like, let's be politically correct thing, and it started.
Oh, okay.
But it was, known as Burma for a long time.
Yeah, there's a Seinfeld episode where Mr. Peterson, he's talking to Elaine, and they're like, "Oh, it's Myanmar now," and he's like, "It'll always be Burma to me."
Yeah. I don't know. My family history is like real strange. So.
Yeah. Well, you're the offspring of a dwarf and a giant.
Yes, look at me. I'm
I'm
Lord of the Rings fucking mixology here. Yeah, there it is. But I feel like some part of that was passed on to me somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Just being able to like be free and go do something cool.
Yeah. How long have you been riding for?
So I guess I really started when I was a teenager. I grew up on the back of my dad's Goldwing in like the 80s. But then when I was a teenager, I ended up getting this like shitty fucking 78 Yamaha DT1 250 Enduro.
Oh, so you were on the back of the Goldwing?
Yeah.
How does your dad at stoplights? Does he have like a cane that he puts down because he can't reach them?
No, he's passed on since then. But in the 80s, he was, he rode all over the place.
I'd like a Goldwing.
They're comfortable. They do exactly what you want them to do.
They're so uncool that they're kind of cool again.
They make that circle back around. Yeah.
Like it's ironically cool.
Yeah, his was like a late 70s, so it was before it got like the full fairing and all the
shit.
So it was just, this fucking opposed pistons and all of that.
Dude, someone sent me something recently, Goldwing chop, and it looked fucking insane.
I've seen a couple of them.
Yeah.
My major issue, because I would love to be able to do like, something like where I got a Goldwing and did something to it, that was like similar to like what his was. But my problem with it is that my big ass size 14s with the engine sticking out the side, I can't like shift the thing unless I were to like build the frame an extra like 4 to 6 inches back, so I could sit back far enough that my legs
size 14 guy.
Yeah, I have big feet. Oh, I'm gonna complain about my height. Yeah, that's fine. But
that actually is annoying to have huge feet.
Yeah,
because you can't like go. I've never been to a shoe store where there's anything above 12.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to special order that.
Yeah, and then you're just taking a roll of the dice. Like,
yeah, you have to go to like special shoe companies that make shoes for like abominable snowmen and shit.
Right? I'm a weird retard. Yeah. I'm here to get shoes.
Do you have any size 14? My mom is a giant.
Yeah, my dad.
That would be wicked annoying though, because you can't just go and buy clothes and like shoes.
No. I actually got these boots up in Conway last time. I was riding up the Kank and my shoe busted on a turn. And I happened to find these size 14s at there's like an Army Navy surplus store up there. I stopped in there and got these.
I bet they do. Like, I remember going to like TJ Maxx and shit, and they'd have like size 15 shoes, and they'd be like on sale, like clearance, $3.
Yeah,
because they're like, no humans actually can wear these,
right? Like, unless you're Shaq, and you got a size like 23.
Or you're like putting together a weird Halloween costume.
Yeah, and I'm just like right on the cusp of being like a super tall person because there's a lot of people that are much taller, but I'm just like right on that edge line.
Yeah,
but yeah, so I had that 250.
I'm
Enduro.
actually sitting on phone books right now.
Is that what you're doing? Is that why we're the same height? Oh, it's just my long ass legs. I forgot all about that. So I took that 250 Enduro.
I'm all torso.
I actually rode the shit out of that dirt bike when I got it as a teenager. So recently they've had all those floods from Hurricane Helene, and it went through like where I lived. I lived in a town called Fairview, and Bat Cave and Lake Lure. They've a bunch of videos about them.
Was it in Florida?
Yeah. No, North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina. Okay.
Yeah, that was Milton. I mean, Helene also hit that, but like the mountains in North Carolina got destroyed.
Really?
It's unreal.
Landslides and shit,
all kinds of stuff because there's a ton of waterways there, but they typically don't have the type of rainfall or the dams were let go. There's a whole lot of conspiracy around how that happened, but I'm not going to get into any of that. But what I will say, not
a conspiracy.
What I was really going to say is that it's a weird thing when like somewhere that you hold dear to your growing up gets like destroyed.
Yeah.
But I used to ride that like 250 down the roads and go to Bat Cave. Go to Chimney Rock, which is where like movies were filmed. Like Last Mohicans was filmed there.
That's the best movie.
Yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Dirty Dancing was filmed at Lake Lure, just right down the street from there.
No shit.
Yeah. So just beautiful places. But my buddy and I, we used to get real high and real drunk and go sneak into the fucking Chimney Rock Park and go camping for the night. It was a good time. It was a fucking lovely time. But that's that was kind of like my introduction to motorcycles as a whole was that. And then I as being kind of a failure as a person for a lot of years, just got into a whole bunch of stupid bullshit that kept me away from being able to even possibly own a motorcycle. But after I somewhat got my shit together, and after my son was born in my late 20s, I got my shit together enough to be able to get a bike. I bought it for $300. It was a 74 TX 500 Yamaha, which, if anybody wants to look that up, it is one of the most complicated motors that they made at the time.
Okay. Is that a shaft-driven one?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's chain-driven. But it also had like timing chains, and for its day, it was very complicated, which meant it was super hard to get parts for.
Oh yeah, that's not a very popular model.
No, so I went through the whole thing. A friend helped me, who was a mechanic. Like, this is how you rebuild a carburetor. This is how this works. This.
How many carbs does that fucking thing have? 2. Okay, that's
just had
not
2.
bad.
I actually ended up getting an electron carb and putting it on there.
Really?
Yeah. And just running a 2-1 manifold on it, and it ran like great for a little while. I didn't even have like a legitimate motorcycle license. I was just like, this is fucking cool. I'm going to do all this cool shit to this bike, and I'm going to fucking make it look like, one of these motorcycles that I've seen, which in my head, I didn't even know that those were choppers. I just knew it was like cool.
Yeah.
But that turned out to be like beyond anything that I could legitimately do, just because I'm not like some amazing fabricator or welder.
Dude, if you Google fucking anything on a Yamaha TX any year, I bet you get 0 fucking results.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I rode it around a little bit, and then ended up shitting the bed. Like the stator went, and I couldn't find one, and I found one on eBay, and it was hundreds of dollars for this used thing.
Yeah.
They never had any aftermarket.
Because there's one motherfucker out there on eBay that's like, TXs are the best motorcycle ever created. He has all the parts, and they're fucking primo.
Yeah, and he just makes you pay a primo price.
Yeah.
My buddy, he got into riding separately, a snowboarding buddy, but I'd known him for years and years and years, and he got a VTX 1300, like a Honda, and was riding the shit out of that. I think he had something else before that. But so I ended up finding on Marketplace, this dude was selling like a Honda Shadow 1100 for a deal, $700 or something. Got it and rode the piss out of that thing. I mean, it's a Honda, whatever else you want to say. They fucking start just about every time you want to push the button.
Yeah,
right?
That was my first bike was a CB750. And I got it I was same deal. It was like mid-20s. Finally got my shit together to cobble $500. It had to run, And then you get it and you're just like, yeah, you don't have a motorcycle license. You don't know how to shift the fucking thing. Definitely don't know how to work on the fucking thing. But that's the first step is just get something,
Yeah. Yeah. So I got that. And then I went through a whole treasure trove of fixing that thing.
Dude, the shadows are actually, they're nowadays, if you're aside from CBs and XSs, the shadows is probably the next best aftermarket. Because you got guys like Lane Split Boulevard, they do shadows. And I think TJ Brutal Customs or whatever, he actually has aftermarket parts for that shit.
Yeah, and that's all true, but mine was a VT 1100, and almost all of that stuff is for the VT 650, 600, and the 750. The 1100 is a shaft drive bike.
Shafty, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I did a few things, change the bars, change the looks.
Yeah.
Call it like a bobber fucking piece of shit, whatever. But I rode the shit out of it. I think one of my most favorable memories was at a music festival, hung out there all weekend, enjoying myself. And then I went to leave and it was a super rainy fucking day. My buddy and I had parked our bikes down in the bottom of a field and we started to go. It was just mud, pure fucking mud. So I just railed it 1 gear, 2 gear, 3 gear, finally caught enough and just rode it like skis through the fucking field with mud flying everywhere. The whole bunch of drugged out hippies, they were like, yeah, woo. It was fun.
I would have dumped it.
I didn't. Probably just because I got my long legs and big paddle feet.
Oh, yeah.
I just floated in the mud.
Yeah, those are fucking pontoon foot over here. You're not afraid of rising water.
Fuck that shit.
You just walk on water, buddy.
Yeah.
Got Jesus Christ up in here.
So then I ended up getting walk on water. I ended up getting a Softail. It was like my first Harley. It was like a
no shit.
Yeah, it was a Softail Deluxe. I went to a local place that sells motorcycles used, and it was like the right deal and whatever. And I rode the shit out of that. And then I went through a whole series of fucking touring bikes, and it was just like this Harley, that Harley. I went on fucking great touring road trips with them and whatnot, and they work flawlessly. They do exactly what you want them to do. But it's also just kind of it gets bland. It's almost just yep, it does all this stuff and I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
It's almost just you're just sitting in a car at a certain point, so I was kind of in a rut with it, where I'd I haven't gone cross country, but I'd gone down south and I'd done crazy mileage, iron butts and stuff, if you know what that is.
1,000 miles.
Yeah.
Straight.
Yeah. In 24 hours.
Oh yeah. You have to, how do you prove that? You have to take pictures or something?
Receipts and whatnot.
Oh,
yeah.
receipts and
receipts
shit. Okay.
of gas stops and where you're stopping and doing, all that kind of stuff.
Is that a organization called Iron Butt?
Anybody could just fucking Google search that shit, and they have a whole website about exactly what you have to do. They have different tiers. It's gold, and I forget now because it's been years since I gave a fuck about it. But you can reach certain levels and do all these different things, and then you can get if you send in the receipts and get the certificate, which it seems like they're pretty stringent about the how you go about saying that you actually did an iron butt. That you get a patch and a license plate frame and all this shit
for free.
It's no, of course you pay for it. So it's a whole bunch of pain.
So you do all the work and then you have to pay for it.
Yeah, for sure, of course. But after I got through all that, I was just man, I don't know, what else is going on? What else do I want to do with this? Because I really, really like.
I mean, I already.
Motorcycle.
How many iron butt patches do you really need on your vest?
I don't know. I don't have any patches on my vest, so I don't know. I did it just more or less just be like, I don't know. I guess at the time it was like, this is a challenge. Like this is a level where people say this is hard to do.
It's 1,000 miles in 24 hours.
Yep.
Yeah. That's pretty hard.
Right. I mean, like you're going, like there's no fucking around with it. And I did it in North Carolina and back. Although like North Carolina is one to where I was going, and then another one could have been the one the way back, but I did the there and back in 3 days. So I guess technically I did like back to back ones.
3 days you went up and down.
I went from New Hampshire to outside of Asheville, North Carolina, and then back up to New Hampshire within 3 days, because that's the amount of time I had off from work, and I was in a fucking shitty place in life at that time, and all kinds of people die in my family, girlfriend left, fucking just everything was horrible. And I needed to find escape somewhere. And
you found
motorcycles?
I found the solace in the iron butt.
By iron butt, baby. But so I got kind of sick of that. And then I ended up, it was twofold. I was at work at the time, working at the state hospital, and I was like sitting on this, doing whatever menial bullshit. And I was reading a magazine at the time. It was like a Wrench, I think was the name of it. It was like choppers and that kind of stuff. And one of the people there was like, oh, like there's this podcast, this chopper podcast, blah, blah. And so I looked it up and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. As soon as I put it on, and I was like, oh, this is strange. And then
what podcast was it?
Lowlife Chopper Podcast.
No shit.
And ended up, I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. And I will listen to an episode, and then I just like.
What was the first episode?
I don't even remember. What I do remember is the former co-host Loctite doing the fucking screaming thing, and like, holy shit, it felt underground. It felt like the kind of
should I scream on the intro?
Community, absolutely. Scream it just super loud.
A whisper scream.
Yeah, whisper scream. And then I listened to an episode, and then I was like, all right, whatever.
Was it Grease and Loctite at the time?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So is that?
Yeah. And then I let it. I just I listened to an episode, and then like life happened. I mean, just trying to deal with everything that was going on. And then it was like 6 months later. Honestly, I was online. I was looking for a fucking sticker, and I think it was a Chicken Rick. Had like your Lowlife New Hampshire plate sticker.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's cool as fuck. It's New Hampshire. So I ordered it, and I got it, and then I looked at it, and I was like, oh, that podcast. Oh yeah, I forgot all about that. And I just put it on, and then I was like, oh my God, for whatever reason, just the pieces fit together, and I started listening to everything. Like I started at episode 1 and just like,
thank you, Chicken Rick.
Went through the whole thing. And then it was like basically like it caught up right as I started getting like really sort of, paying attention to, oh, there's like people that are doing this cool shit in my area, and I can go to a show that is near here and like hang out with people that are into this cool shit. Mm-hmm. And it was just about that time that, everything changed with the podcast as far as the podcast goes. But it was like hard for me. Because I'm just rolling up in whatever fucking bike I had at the time, and people look at you like you got 3 fucking heads because you don't know anybody, and you're just like checking out all this cool shit.
Yeah,
and it was fun. It was a good time.
What show was it?
I think the first one that I actually went to was one of the Lost Spot shows.
Oh, okay.
And that like VFW or Legion or whatever it is. And just social anxiety is just like a thing. It's just like, holy shit, I don't even know like how to spark up a conversation here.
You drink a bunch of beer.
That's what I did. And eventually I did. At that show I did not. But later on, I ended up at like the Easy Coast show. And
that's where we met.
Yeah. I ended up just like fucking chatting with you after I fucking pounded like 3 beers, and the guy told me I couldn't be drinking beer in the parking lot. I was like, did you have beer? Here.
Yeah. Oh, you couldn't drink beer in the parking lot?
No, because I I had like a regular koozie, and I was just like sipping a can of beer, and he's like, "No, you can't be doing that."
They want you to buy it from the
yeah. And then so he's like, "You can't be, you can't have that." I was like, "Okay." And so I went to pound it. He's like, "Don't do that." He started yelling at me, and then I just was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go walk over there and chat with these guys and see what's up."
Damn. And I was like, I got a cooler full of Modelo's.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh well, I found my spot here. Let me just sit down and chit chat and just continually talking to this man."
Yeah. I think that was the year that I broke down with the shovel head. Yeah.
And Elky.
Yeah, and I had the El Camino.
Yeah.
So I was really tired of one. That's also the year I fainted and fell into a bunch of chairs.
That was after I left, but yes.
Oh, you didn't see it?
I did not. No, because
that was the end of the day.
No, because I ended up
after I got heat stroke.
Ended up going to get a tattoo. Yeah.
Oh, you got a tat there?
Yeah.
Okay.
They eventually called me up, and I was like, "All right, so I'm gonna go do this thing." And so somewhere in that time frame is when you fell on
the chairs.
Yeah. I probably would have been telling you like, you need to drink some fucking water.
Yeah, I don't do that sort of shit. Never touch this stuff, dude. Light beer is like mostly water.
Yeah, I mean, alcohol has no dehydrative properties.
That was a super fun show though, because we were set up there, and my bike broke down, so I was like, oh, I can just get shit faced then, because I'm not riding home. And I remember we were parked right next to that van, so we had that piss spot. Like that's always a big thing at shows too. It's like if it's outdoors or whatever, and like where do you piss? Like it's the last thing on people's mind when they're planning a show is like, oh, where's everybody to piss?
Yeah, the utilities. Yeah.
Like inside. I'm like, no, I'm going right here. Spin around. I'm pissing behind this van, and the van door slides open as I'm pissing. And it's like, there's like 3 chicks in there, and they're like, they had like a little baggie of drugs. I don't even know what it was. They're like, hey, you want them? Like, you want to come in? I was like, I'm going to finish pissing, and then I'm going to go faint in some chairs. But that's awesome.
Yeah, no baggie of drugs for you.
Yeah. I'm too old for that shit.
Yeah, I hear that.
If I do drugs, I'm going to die. I'm already so unhealthy, with the drinking, smoking, eating, no exercise, depression.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah,
I think the
drugs is just going to make that way worse.
The one part of that I do get just because of my job is exercise. I move a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so you're a big rig trucker.
I'm a big rig trucker.
How many gears that thing have?
6. Only 6.
Only 6?
It's an automatic. It's fucking, I don't have to shift gears. I know how to shift gears, but I don't have to.
Dude, I saw a tutorial of one of those truck drivers doing fucking like 18 gears, dude.
It was a double stick.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's difficult.
That's really impressive.
It's difficult, especially since the patterns are all strange. And you have to be able to shift one before you shift the other. You have to keep track of where that is. But yeah, once you learn how to like float gears, which is where you don't use the clutch, driving like a big truck like that, which I haven't done for a long time. It's not that hard.
Do you have a CB radio?
No.
So it's not a thing with truckers anymore?
CB radios were great before GPS because you needed to know stuff like what weather storm system is coming through or like what road is closed, that kind of thing. But now we're so connected with technology that has replaced it entirely. I mean, there are some people that still have CB radios, but I'm not like an over-the-road trucker. I'm not going across the country. I don't have to like...
Dude, I used to love fucking with CBs back in the day. My parent, when I was growing up, we had a Suburban and had a CB in it.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
You're like, breaker, come on in.
We had handles and stuff. My uncle was a truck driver.
Yeah.
So he actually knew dudes. And he had one in his truck, obviously, but we'd go over his house. Shout out Uncle Ricky. And he'd have a CB radio in his house, in his kitchen.
So you could just listen to it all the time?
Yeah, and he'd be like, hey, Meat Man, it's Rifleman, what's going on? Hey, Meat, 10-4, can you read me? It was fucking wicked fun. And we were like little pieces of shit, and we'd fuck with people. So we'd like change the channel and try to get someone and start fucking with them. It'd be like make up handles and be like, hey, what's going on? And then they'd start talking.
This is Tin Strip. How's it going?
Yeah, and then it would be like the Jerky Boys, We'd start fucking with them. And they're like, get out, all sons of bitches. And we'd be like, But CBs are sick, dude.
I really like that whole thing about like I miss some of like the underground radio stuff. I mean, now Yes, we have super access to being able to have radio shows or podcasts or music, but it's like there's so much. You're just avalanched with it. You can't sift through it to find the stuff you want.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I listen to like podcasts, but I'm kind of like I don't go searching new ones out that often. If someone gives me one or I find one, like I'll listen to it. But like I have a core podcast, like maybe 4 or 5 that I listen to religiously, and that's about it.
Yeah, I listen to the same ones. Actually, you introduced me to another one.
Which one?
Like Small Town Murder.
Oh fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, Shut Up and Give Me Murder. That whole thing.
I love it.
Yeah, it's actually really good. Like while I'm at work, I can just I've got like a little earbud in. I can just listen to it and enjoy it, and block out the rest of all the.
They come out with they come out with a ton of content. Because they do. I mean, you get 2 free episodes, but they also have like crime and sports, which it's the same guys doing pretty much the same thing. And then if you sign up for the Patreon, you get all the back catalog, so hundreds and hundreds.
Yeah, I've been considering signing up for the Patreon just because I've basically run out of all the episodes.
Oh yeah.
But I really do like the dichotomy there of like comedy with this like very serious murder stuff.
Oh yeah. It's all small town stuff too, so it's not like stuff you've already heard about.
Yeah, well, it's also there's a backstory. Like there's you have to build the situation and the context and like what is going on around this and why is it interesting.
Yeah,
and they do a great job of it.
Yeah, I'm just huge true crime fan always. Like television is like First 48, fucking Forensic Files, like anything.
True Homicide crime. Hunter.
With that dude that's like,
the detective.
My. I think we have a problem. What the fuck's his name? Kenda?
Yes. Yeah.
What a tool that guy is.
Yeah, but it's, I don't know.
It was the biggest case of my life.
But I found it interesting.
Yeah, it's good stories, but then they flash back and they have some cool looking actor. And I like the stories, but god damn it, dude. I fucking hate cops.
Well, and it's also like, it's potentially against you. I mean,
I don't even think I'd call the cops if I found a dead body. I'd just be like, guy probably deserved it.
I think
they had their reasons.
I think it would depend on how culpable I would be if I didn't report it.
Yeah, like you're walking away from it, and then all of a sudden a cop pulls up, and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Or somebody else sees it, or like I'm like, "Oh, searching for it," and then my kid is like, "Oh, wow, we found a dead body."
No, they definitely catch you though, because they'll be like, "All right, let's check the database for anybody with size 14 shoes."
Oh yeah, my prince.
And you would pop up.
So I go through so many different, boots and shoes, man. I mean, I'm telling these crazy stories about losing shoes. It's really just because I'm, burying bodies everywhere, and I need to get rid of the evidence.
Dude, if I was I wouldn't bury a body. There's definitely better ways to get it. First of all, you can't burn it unless you have some special equipment. Like, you're not throwing that shit on a bonfire.
Not unless you're burning it for a long time and then retrieving what's left.
But you know what seems to work really well is 55-gallon drums. Nobody seems to ever open those up.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever seen was that Return of the Living Dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, where they have like the fucking crazy zombies in the fucking barrels. Yeah. Some shit like that.
Yeah, there was a serial killer up in New Hampshire, and he'd put the bodies of his victim. Actually, it was where Loctite got married. Bear Hill, I think it was called Bear Park or something, up in New Hampshire. Bear something.
Bear Brook.
Oh yeah. He'd put these bodies. He put these bodies in 55-gallon drums, throw them out in the woods. Fucking decades, dude. Nobody's opening them up. There's like nobody's that curious to see what if it's fucking industrial solvent or something toxic. So you just stuff it in a drum, fucking throw it in the woods. Peace.
Just leave it.
Yeah, just fucking leave it.
Yeah. I don't know where I live down south.
You're not gonna fit in a drum, bro.
Where I live down south, it's so different down there because it's like incredibly remote, and the mountains are hard to traverse. Like people aren't like. It's not even like here in the mountains. The mountains it's dense. Like you can take a walk in the White Mountains and like just get off the trail and fucking take a walk. You're not doing that in most parts of the like southern Appalachians because it's incredibly tough undergrowth.
Oh,
you
yeah.
got rhododendrons and bushes, like you're chopping your way like a jungle through that. So every so often they'd find, stills or bodies or sites of some type of crime going on. And I miss the fact that down there in that like sort of deep south mountainous region that there weren't cops. The town I lived in didn't have its own police force. Every couple of months you'd see a sheriff.
A sheriff that does the whole county or whatever.
Yeah, he does like a warrant serve. But I mean, I was on, 12, 13, 14 riding my fucking dirt bike on the road and he's behind me. He didn't give a shit. He's not going to try and fucking get you for that.
Yeah.
So I miss that.
I miss lazy cops. Like, hey, I don't want to do the paperwork, or like, hey, I actually got better things to do. I'm going to go down to the diner and get breakfast or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stop fucking with people for every little thing.
Yeah. And my dad used to tell me stories. He grew up as a child in New York City, during like the 50s and 60s. And he's like,
oh, shit.
When you had, he was a, single mother. He was half Burmese. He was a tough dude because he had to be. But, he's like, my interactions with police were very different because you had like actual foot patrol cops. Like they walked the beat.
Yeah.
They knew everybody who lived in these buildings. They knew everyone. So they knew if like, oh yeah, that's just Rhino. He fucking drinks and he's fine and whatever. We don't need to give him a bunch of shit. And they wouldn't. Yeah. But when something actually bad occurred, like somebody was getting raped, somebody was getting murdered, there was somebody there to deal with it.
Yeah.
If no one else
and they're on the street. Yeah, they're on the street.
They're literally right there.
Yeah.
And I think, going back to that style where they actually know everyone would help immensely.
Yeah.
Because right now it's just opposing sides. It's forcing that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, that's what they do. Right. The military is like, go and meet the local populace, man. Like meet the people, indoctrinate yourself into the culture and shit. You
have to know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't just like shoot everybody.
Or at least hopefully not.
Yeah. So, dude, that's fucking, so you did your iron butt and you were like, this is lame. You found the podcast. When did you get, like, you started getting into choppers? You have a couple of bikes in play right now. What do you got going on?
I have 3 bikes in play right now, really. So currently what I'm riding is a 94 Sportster 1200. Basically a swinger arm chop that I bought, done as it is, by somebody else, which I like, and it works well. So I'm fucking headlight wiring bullshit.
Yeah, you remember the guy's name? It was
Colin.
Colin, yeah. We camped out with him at Deadbeat.
I never actually met him. He sold it as a sort of for consignment. Consignment at another place. But I did talk to him a little bit, and no regrets, no problems there. It's just anytime you're buying a bike that somebody else has done work on, you're essentially absorbing whatever they decided to do.
Yeah.
And the way they decided to do it, it's just not the way that I would do it, but that's just me.
He's an old head. He's been into choppers and bikes for a long time. But him and his old lady came out and camped. Good people. Beautiful bike too. I
love it. I mean, it works well. It does its thing. And really, I was in a situation where, like the year prior, like 2 years ago, I ended up getting a Sportster 883 and, tearing it all apart. And I got a gas box frame and bought a fuckload of parts for it. And just every step of the way, this thing has just fought me tooth and nail. And so I was like, fucking done with this. But I kept riding that same bike around, the Harley touring bike that I had, that I did that iron butt on. And I just decided that I was like done with it. So I ended up trading that for a shovelhead, an 83 shovelhead, which I have. And I rode that around. I just changed a couple of things on it. This winter, it's going to get the full 9, or at least as much as I possibly can. My like Sportster hardtail project is kind of on the back burner because I am just totally at my ends with everything going on in my life, and it's too much, and I need a bike to ride.
Mm-hmm.
So my plan is get the shovel head going.
That's a good plan.
And then do the Sportster, like do it right.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. That's why like let that swap meet. Like I picked up that tank for it. I got a Springer front end. I got an Invader rim. So
nice.
Yeah.
That's gonna be sick, dude. 83. Is that birth year for you?
No. 81.
81.
Yeah, 81 would be me.
What's your birthday? Month, day?
So I am September.
September. Okay. Last week was my brother's birthday. He's 81.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, actually, when we had talked previously, like interesting, weird New Hampshire social circles became like this.
Oh, yeah. Because you're Concord guy. You're Concord guy.
So to speak. Like my parents were divorced and I moved around between the two.
But that would have been the same year because my cousin Ollie, he does Wicked Tasty Food Truck guy that was at the Lowdown a couple years ago. He's an 81 kid and he went to Concord High. So you definitely would have been like in that class.
Yeah. Especially if I had graduated from high school.
Yeah. I don't think you graduated either.
Yeah, I didn't. I went to my 10th grade year.
I think you went on tour with Fish for the next 12 years.
I was a Fish guy.
He's a huge Fish guy.
Could never get into that stuff.
I was never. It
just keeps
jam
going.
bands.
It just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah. It's too peaceful for me.
I need a little adversity.
Yeah. I'm not a hardcore kid either, though. I mean, I'm really interested. Like, I've learned a lot from Dan, like, about the hardcore scene. It's fucking. It's really similar to like the motorcycle scene or the club scene, but I was always just hip hop. I like going to hip hop shows, and I liked really hardcore hip hop too. Because it was kind of half punk, half hardcore, half hip hop.
There's a lot of crossover there.
Yeah. And I said half 3 times, which doesn't add up to 100.
150%.
But yeah, dude, I just never got into the jam band stuff. Like I was an angry kid growing up.
Same.
Angry and mischievous, and I didn't like rocking the hemp necklaces and the fucking seashells and shit like that. But
yeah, I didn't do that either.
Yeah, I wish I had.
I wish my life had been such that I would have felt comfortable doing that.
Yeah. I wish I would have just grown up like smoking weed, going to jam bands, hanging out, having fun, feeling good.
Yeah, that wasn't my experience either.
Yeah, I was just so fucking angry and like, but I still had fun, just in a different way.
Yeah, I had a good time. I mean, I think when I moved back up here to go to high school, and like a month into high school, ended up getting clocked by this kid in the middle of the fucking street, and some other friends of his fucking kicked me down to the ground and just jumped me in the middle of the fucking road. And that just changed my mentality as far as like, okay, I'm done with this. Like, I'm just going to let my fucking anger out. I'm just going to be me. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you all. If you're going to be like that to me, I'm going to be like that to you.
Yeah.
And it really changed a lot of things. I found like punk and hardcore music. And that brought out some of that, anger. It allowed me to process it, and find some sense of discipline with it rather than just being angry.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Dude, like people are like, oh, there's guys who've never been punched in the face and it shows, type of thing.
Yeah.
Getting jumped is way different. That's like a whole different category. If you've ever been jumped by multiple dudes, you have zero chance of fighting back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They fuck you up.
Yeah.
Like when you're in a one-on-one fist fight or whatever, like maybe you get a couple blows in. But dude, when you get jumped by multiple dudes, so my new thing is like, you've never been like, there's guys that have never been jumped, and it shows. Once you get jumped, dude, like then your whole world changes. You wake up, you got eggs all over your head, you got 0 shots in, you got your ass kicked. It fucking.
Oh yeah, and you're rocked, like you got concussion, like
Oh
you're
yeah.
just fucking, like you have there's nothing you can do about it.
Oh yeah.
There's no chance. There's no.
There's
fucking
someone
chance.
punching you in the face, someone kicking you in the head.
Oh yeah, you just like. I mean, I just covered up.
Yeah,
you just like I got no. I'm kicking this guy off. Yeah. And this guy's coming off the side. Actually, what ended it, which I found out like many months later, was there's a local pizza place. This dude who owned it got out of his fucking minivan, doing deliveries for the whatever delivery place with a fucking tire iron. And one of the other guys that were like kicking me while I was on the ground fucking pulled up the tire and was like, "Get the fuck off of him."
No shit.
And that's what ended it. Otherwise, I don't know what would happen.
Yeah. Well, dude, that's the thing is like when you get jumped, it's just like it ends whenever they decide it ends,
Yeah, unless you got a fucking gun. Like, what else?
Yeah, I remember one time.
I mean, I was like 15.
I was like a little bit older. I was in my 20s. And we're out drinking. It was like wicked, bars closed, mad late. Everybody's out on the street at the same time. It was dead of winter, and it's like January. And my boy, fucking drunk, having fun, throwing snowballs, dude. Threw a snowball at this car, and they took it personally. This is just one of many times. I've been jumped multiple times, but this one was pretty bad. They pulled over. Dude, one kid came out, ran right up to my boy, knocked him down. Huge kid. My boy is a big guy. He's 6'3", but he's shit-faced. Anyways, car pulled over. He was 2 milliseconds. He was on top of him. The rest of the door is open. And it's just me. And there's like 4 dudes.
Oh.
And my boy's already taken care of. So they're just like, shh. And I go, are you guys fucking serious? And then
we are.
Dude, just fucking hands and feet and fucking, there was nothing I could do, just stomp the fuck out.
Just try and protect your head and fucking
you're trying to protect your head.
That's about it.
It's like, take the body shots. All they want to do is fucking stomp your head anyways. Yep. Nobody wants to do, it's not like the sweet science of boxing. They're not taking body shots, In a street fight, they're just like, do as much damage to his face as possible.
Yeah. I think it's actually where like I really started getting into like knife work and started into like martial arts and stuff. I was kind of into it before that, but it really spawned me off into being genuinely interested in that because I feel like if I had made some different choices in the initial few moments of that, it would have changed how that went.
Oh, yeah.
Like if I'd been able to just easily dispatch the first guy, the other ones would have just been like,
bro, I wish like when I was younger that I took up like karate or some shit. Cause I was like, I had 2 other brothers and we just fought all the time, so I'm good at fighting. Cause like we'd get really rough, I stabbed my brother in the back with a fork once. Broke a guitar over him and shit, like we got into it, you know? So we're like pretty tough, but we're into like wrestling and fighting and all that shit. But I would love to be like one of those dudes. Like you see like those MMA guys, they're like out on the street and they're like, no, I don't want any fucking problem. And then they just do like a roundhouse backwards kick into a dude's face and take him out. Take out like 3 dudes at once. I wish I had that technique.
Yeah, and so do I. I wish that I could do some kind of crazy shit.
At least I can take some damage.
Well, and that's part of the whole thing too, is that, at least you know that you can take a hit. And that's a huge first thing. I mean, it's, I got into all kinds of martial arts since then, and really just dropped off from it. But like, took grappling, took karate, took taekwondo, tung sudo, and I think Muay Thai for a little while. Karate. But I think a lot of it actually working for like over a decade at the state psychiatric hospital with some of that knowledge was actually really helpful because those people are in fight or flight mode and they're just trying to attack because they think that, whatever delusion they have really changes the whole thing. Because as opposed to a martial art where somebody's like, oh, we're going to follow this particular train of action. It's like, no, these people they're going to bite you. They will twist your nuts.
It's not a tournament.
Yeah. There's no rules to this.
Have you got your nuts twisted?
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. I've been, punched, kicked, bit, spit at, all kinds of shit. It's a whole different level when you're trying to do it in like a psychiatric setting because they have rights. Like you can't just
even in a street fight, you can pretty much feel comfortable not guarding your nuts. Like having someone twist your nuts. My like wrestling with my kids, they did that one time. Dude, it was pretty painful.
Yeah, one of the first.
You got to teach them.
One of the first.
It's not allowed.
The first restraints I did at the state hospital was when the coworker who was actually training me. I was like 6 months into that job, and I walked out on the floor after coming back from a lunch break, and there was one of the patients, and he had my trainer, his nuts and dick in his hand, and he had bit into his inner thigh.
What the fuck?
And he was on the ground, and they couldn't get him to release.
Like through his pants?
Yeah, but like drew blood. I mean, teeth are sharp. It went right through his pants, and he's got a hold of them and twisting while he's biting. And you've got a whole pile of people.
You can rip nuts off pretty easy, I bet.
He's really going for it. It was a long time to get him off of him. It's a scary place to work.
Yeah, dude. Think your Monday's bad. Get your fucking nuts twisted and your inner thigh bit.
Yeah, I mean, but
what the fuck?
I know I've been, bit, and I got punched in the face one time, really fucking hard at work there at the state hospital. I was opening a bathroom door. This dude, about my height, skinnier, leaner, totally psychotic, but I just thought I was going to harm him or something. So just out of the blue, I saw I moved my head, and then the fist came and just good right cross, full body right cross, right in my eye.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah. So it's a very scary place. There's a few nurses that have written books about how scary and dangerous that place is. It's much more dangerous than working as like a CO at a prison or that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have rights. They're the same rights as you would have if you went to the hospital for cancer or a broken leg. So it's just very different. So I feel like I really grew a lot as far as being able to understand how to work physically with someone attacking me throughout that process. And the interactions that I've had since then have been very different because I just deal with it differently. But traumatic situations like getting jumped, they change you.
Oh yeah.
Which it sounds like you understand what that is like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like getting your balls twisted off and your inner thigh bit.
Not me either, but I see what happened to him.
In that moment though, he's like, why do I like this? New kink unlocked.
Like,
Someone twisting your that would be a weird way to find out, like some mental patient twisting your balls off, bites your thigh, and you're like, that's my thing.
Just, right. He ends up
update my Tinder profile.
Fucking hookers and stuff. Like, you got to do it this way. You got to bite harder.
Yeah. Put on the straitjacket.
Oh, they don't use those anymore.
Oh, they don't.
No, you can't use that. You can put somebody in restraints. Like, you put them on a straight bed, so they have straps. You restrain them to a bed, but you got to get them there first. It's they have a lot of rights, so you can't just do that nilly willy. You have to have a doctor sign off on it and stuff. But
no.
But things happen in the interim. I mean, before you can call for help or whatever.
How did someone get into a psychiatric unit? Like, because back in the day, right? Like, they shut a lot of these fucking things down that were like state run, right? Like, remember, like after Geraldo Rivera like did the expose and shit.
Yeah.
Like, and all those people became homeless or whatever. Like, what now do you have to do to get into one of these places? And they're not like they used to be.
No, it's not like
it's part of the hospital system.
Oh yeah, I mean it's in New Hampshire at least. I can't speak to what happens in other states, but in New Hampshire, you have to meet 2 criteria. You have to be a danger or a threat to yourself or others, and you have to have evidence of a real factual mental illness of some kind. So it's not just a criminal act that you're trying to kill somebody or kill yourself. And that it's caused by a mental illness. Those are the 2 things. So I've, it runs the gambit too, like being in a psych ward as an employee, it runs the gambit from all these crazy motherfuckers to it's your brother's, sister's, cousin, friend, vet who had a horrible time and tried to commit suicide and just ended up there. And
they put them all in the same place.
You're looking at 20, 30 people that are all in the same unit, multiple units, so somebody might be psychotic, another guy's just fucking wicked depressed, and it just got to a point where he had reached his end or her end or whatever. And
I must make it better though.
Oh yeah, that is the situation you want to be in. Yeah, really high stress situation where you have a roommate and there's all these fucking crazy people, and
that's fucked, dude.
It's not what it should be. I will say that the New Hampshire State Hospital as a whole is better than a lot of other state hospitals.
Yeah.
But it's got a long ways to go. It's just not.
Well, imagine like a shitty state has no money, like New Mexico or something. But that shit must look like.
Yeah. So I watched a video of how they do it in North Carolina, and ended up meeting somebody who worked at New Hampshire State Hospital, who was at North Carolina State Hospital. And the way they do it down there, it's much more brutal because they've got like 6-7 people to a room, and none of the employees actually walk the unit. Like, they're not there. They sit in like a nurse's office that has a locked door and bulletproof glass, and just like chaos fucking ensues. And then they deal with like major violent eruptions.
And they ring the bell and they're like, come get your meds.
Pretty much.
A little paper cup
Here, take
with
these
like
fucking
12
drugs.
pills in it.
Yeah.
Jesus, dude. Poor people, man.
Yeah.
If you get fucked up like that, like, nobody cares about you. If you're a drug addict or you have fucking schizophrenia or whatever, like, unless you got money.
Yeah, if you got money, you're not going to be there.
Yeah, you go down to fucking Boca Raton to some fucking resort.
Yeah, like a rehab or whatever, and then they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, let's prescribe these medications," and like actually have like a psychiatrist and psychologist really sit down with you. I mean, at the state hospital, the amount of psychologists, so people that actually provide therapy, you'd be lucky if you found one person on each unit that actually sees a psychologist.
Yeah,
you see a psychiatrist for 45 minutes to give them prescription of medication, but that's about it.
Yeah, they're not trying to work out your problems.
No.
And if you're not there, you're on the fucking street because you can't hold down a job. You don't have like a family unit,
No, I mean, that's a huge part is like, if you're actually mentally ill, I mean, especially chronically mentally ill, somebody who's like schizophrenic or has, lifelong chronic bipolar disorder, it's likely that you've burned all those bridges.
Oh yeah.
If those people aren't dead, they're done with you because you've fucked them over so many times just due to the fact that you're ill.
Yeah.
But for just as many shitheads that I saw walk through there's just as many like awesome people that they showed up, they were fucked, they got on meds, they got stabilized, they came back out, and they were just duty to go have a beer with.
Yeah.
You never know. But they were just really, really
Well, yeah, some people need medication. Some people need just fucking something,
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is just the way our society is now. It's just, there is no support. If you don't have the family support, what do you got going for you?
Yeah.
And once upon a time, I think it was, religion, or you could even get, in your job or whatever, you had something that you could focus on. I don't really have that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, nowadays it's like, some people don't have family, and if you don't have friends, then you're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
You need one of the two, really good friends or really good family.
You need somebody there to help you because we all need help at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if you're just mildly ill, you know what I mean? Like, people are like, if you don't have good friends that would take care of you, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hang out with him. He's weird. No, I'm bipolar. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that, like, when I saw, like last week, talking about the buddy check, I think that's amazing because so many people, I mean, life happens in a moment and shit's happening to your friends, to your loved ones. You may not even know what's going on. If you just check in with them, hey, like, I know we haven't talked in a while. I'm here. Whatever you need, I'm with it. It's helpful.
Let's do the buddy check right now.
All right.
Buddy check, guys. Look out for your people. Talk to your friends. Keep them close. You know what? You shouldn't have any acquaintances. Once you get to a certain age, you should just have friends. Right? Someone that you actually care about. And you should check in with them and go, what are you doing this weekend? And if they tell you something like fucked up, like, Me and the wife aren't getting together. We're not fucking getting along very good. Like, be like, is there anything I can do? Just offer help, right? Like, especially dudes like for me, I don't want nothing off of nobody. I'm not going to ask for help ever. But even still, like, just having someone reach out and be like, do you need anything? That's enough. You don't actually have to even do anything. You just have to say, hey, if you need anything.
Or, invite somebody over for whatever. Hey, we're going to have dinner, like a barbecue or whatever.
Yeah.
It's the middle of fucking winter. Like, do you want to go hang out and get a beer somewhere?
Go for a ride. Go to lunch on a Sunday with your boys. Yeah. It's, you need that,
Even if you don't take them up on the offer, the invitation's there. Somebody gives a fuck about the fact that you're still alive and here in the world.
Yeah.
And that could be enough to keep you going for the next day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you don't know what people are going through, dude. I mean, fucking life is goddamn hard, It's complicated, it's hard, and it's good to have the more positive influences, people you have in your life, the better. And if you're in a spot that you can offer help, do it. And if you're one of those dudes that's like, hey, I got fucking nobody checking in on me, I'll check in on you. Reach out. Be like, dude, I'm all alone. I care about you. If you're listening to me talk right now, I do care about you. Because you shouldn't be listening to me right now.
you fucked up if you're just here.
Yeah, I mean, you're in a very low spot in your life if you're listening to me right now.
It is the Lowlife podcast. Low place.
Yeah, we care about low lives here. We care about the dregs of society. We care about you. So reach out. And I'll check on you. And you check on me too. Maybe I need help. I'm screaming for help.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're the professional.
I'm no longer a professional. I got out of that.
Yeah, you're a truck driver.
I fucking got out of that, dude. I had enough of that fucking shit. Yeah. Yeah, I'm all set with having to restrain people.
All right. Before we get any further along, we're going to go ahead and thank some of those special people that make this show possible. Our sponsors. Deadbeat Customs. Steve over at Deadbeat Customs is all about grassroots motorcycle riders who take it upon themselves to build and customize their bike. They offer parts for all Harley-Davidson models and also offer custom parts for choppers, boppers, trackers, and cafe racers. When it comes to building a motorcycle, they carry the best brands available. Go visit their brick and mortar store in Tewksbury, Mass, or at deadbeatcustoms.com and enter code LOWLIFE at checkout to save some money. Lowbrow Customs. Tyler and his team not only work hard to supply motorcycle enthusiasts with cool parts from small shops all around the world for over 20 years, but they also keep on innovating and creating new parts and accessories, getting them out on the road. They are the #1 source for custom and chopper parts for your motorcycle. Go visit lowbrowcustoms.com today. Stay Strong Co. Jean-Luc has been sent down from the heavens to bless us lowlifes with the greatest hot sauces in this mortal plane. Sweet heat baby Jesus in the white pants heralds a message from God himself. Don't put this on your pee-pee. It's for your mouth. The shits. In the hotter than hellfire, lowlife chopper sauce. Go to staystrongco.org today and grab yourself the holy trinity of hot sauces. Oxford Co. Choppers. Chris is the original bad boy from Oxford, Connecticut. From frame restoration and repair to handlebars and hardtails, hard parts for hard men. His hardtails are expertly TIG welded and installed in-house. Made of USA-made steel with cast axle plates, he is your man for the hardest shit to hit the East Coast since Hurricane Bob. Find him on Instagram at oxfordco.choppers. Thank you for listening to our sponsors. Go support them because they support us. And I guess indirectly they support you. A couple of questions came in this week about what the fuck is CeeLo? How do you play it? So I'm going to clarify. Because not everybody knows how. And it's the best dice game.
It's really good.
I mean, it's the best dice game I've ever played. All right. So CeeLo, you need 3 die. 3. And you roll the die. And keep me honest here.
Okay.
Because I've been drinking a lot today. So you roll 3 dice or 3 die. And you need to have 2 numbers match, right? So you roll the dice and you get a 1, and a 5. The 5 is your number, right? If you roll the dice and 2 numbers don't match, you roll again. You have to roll again until 2 numbers match. The third number that doesn't match is your number. You want to get the highest number possible, right? So 1 sucks. 6 is great. Okay? Everybody throws $1 in. So pretty much universally, everybody, I mean, you can do high stakes, but
you need to do a totally separate instructional video.
I do?
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Let me finish it up. All right. So everybody throws in $1. You roll the dice. Whoever, you roll, you can roll to see who has the highest. You roll 2 numbers that match. The third one is your number. All right. If you roll a 1, 2, 3, you automatically lose. If you roll a 4, 5, 6, you automatically win. You take the pot.
The pot being the money that you threw in.
The pot being the money you throw in. Okay? If you roll 3, like you saw in last episode, I got triple 1s. That beats a 6, right? If you roll triple 2s, that beats triple 1s.
And how many chances do you get to roll the die?
You can roll as many as you can until you get something.
Right.
Yeah. So you roll, and if you get nothing, you roll again. You roll again. You roll again. Until you get 2 numbers that match, 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5, 6, or triples. Yeah. And 4, 5, 6 beats everything. So if you get triple 6s and someone rolls 4, 5, 6, you win. If you roll triple 1s like I did last week, you beat a 6. And you have a big circle of people. So you start off, everybody throws in, you roll the dice, pass it to the left, you keep your number. And then after everybody's rolled, whoever has the highest number wins. You win the pot. And then from there, you coax people to put even more money. You go, hey, how about a $5 game?
$20 game,
like,
$100 game.
But you gotta. Here's the strategy. You wait until someone wins a huge pot. Right. So, here's the other thing. If you tie with another person, so let's say me and Lex are playing, and we both roll 6s, you double down. So you have $1 in the pot. We both roll 6s. You have to put in $1. All right, until all your money's gone, and then the pot's bigger. Right. So what you do, here's a strategy. Wait till someone gets a big pot. They won like $14. They're like, oh my God, what am I going to do with all this money? And you go, hey, how about a $5 game? And then they're like, yeah, I got all this money. So they're in. You're in. They're in. You have like 12, like maybe 6 people there. People want to play. They go, okay, yeah, I guess I got $5. I got a Finsky. I'm playing with 1s, but I got 5 in my wallet. Now you got a $15 pot, $16 pot, or like $20, $40 pot. Now things get interesting.
Yeah.
Now when someone wins that, they got $40 in their pocket or whatever. And they're like, huh, you want to do a $10 game? And you're down. You have a 10. You got a 10 ready. So you make sure you get your 1s, but have 5, 10s, and 20s ready and work people up to the $100 rolls. That's when it gets really exciting.
Yeah. The last time I played, it ended up getting to $40 games. And when you win a $40 game, like if you have multiple people, like you're really winning, like, holy shit, like this is going to help immensely.
Yeah. And you can change the bet at any time. So if everybody gets fucked and someone's winning all the money, you can just be like, let's go back to $1 games. $1 games are great because the stakes are low. It's just a fun thing to do. You can have 3 dice in your pocket at any time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you're just drinking, you gambling. I mean,
yeah.
People just
gambling is just a fun thing to do. It's great if your buddy's broke down on the side of the road and he's fixing his bike. You just break out the dice and gamble right there on the side of the road on the shoulder. So, CeeLo, if you guys want some clarification on the rules, please let me know at Rhino at thelowlifepodcast.com or Dan at thelowlifepodcast.com. He said he wasn't going to explain it to you guys, but I am a nice guy, so I will. And I want everybody playing CeeLo.
He did say
it's fun.
He's not going to fucking explain it to people. If you don't know, just fucking figure it
out. He said, use Google. That's what he said.
No Bing.
You know, some of our listeners don't have Google. They're listening on a pirated ham radio. I got a couple of shout outs. I want to shout out number one, my man Lex here, my spirit animal. We've been crushing beers all day.
Yeah.
All day.
Since like 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock he shows up. We're drinking Modelo's. Had a fucking awesome day today. I also want to shout out, we talked about it a little bit last week. We got the Discord set up. I don't know what the fuck to do with it at this point. I'm not a Discord guy, but that's going to be something for our Patreons. I want to shout out Caleb Easy Money 99. He reached out. He said, yo, bro, I'll hook you up with the Discord. He did it. We got it. It's called the Lowlife Lounge. How do you like that? That sounds like a fun place to hang and talk. So we're going to figure out what we're going to do about that. But Caleb, thank you so much. Lot more to come. Hopefully you guys like this episode. Still dialing in. You wouldn't believe me if I told you how long me and Lex fucked with the cameras and the microphones today. Hopefully this week sounds a little bit better. I bought new mics. That's a huge investment right there. Big money, baby. More to come. Stick around. And until next week, Lowlifes, roll the dice. Get in trouble. Have fun. And never stop chopping.
We realized after we cut it that Lex has not had the nectar of the gods.
What gods?
Jepson's Malort from Chicago. Aren't you embarrassed?
Dude, you can work.
That's my Chicago accent. Shout out to Elvis Quambeck. We're going to take a shot, or actually we're just going to pull off the bottle.
Swig.
We're going to take a swig of Jepson's Malort, and then I'll let you do the honors.
All right.
Make sure you face the camera so everybody can see your Malort face.
Let's get this fucking chaser ready here. Why would you drink that?
Another satisfied customer.
Why would you drink that?
I gotta remind myself. Yeah, what the fuck were they thinking?
It doesn't bite like I was expecting some kind of like moonshine.
Like an alcoholic bite.
Yeah.
The bite is in the flavor.
Oh, it's still there.
It's not going to go away.
Mm.
That is... It's not sweet, dude. I don't even know what the fucking...
Tastes like old rubber and worms or something. It's bad.
It's rubbery. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's rubbery.
Yeah, dude. It's like drinking rubber. Fucking Chicagoans are fucked up, dude.
I mean, it you know, have an experience and know what it is. But
imagine if it was like, I mean, if it was like 100 proof or something, maybe it would be worth it. But it's not even, dude. It's 35% alcohol.
Although I gotta say, if it had that kind of crazy bite and it tasted like that,
yeah,
people would think it was a chemical and fucking.
It tastes kind of chemically.
They probably call the EPA.
Yeah. I wonder how it is at getting out stains on your shirt.
I don't know. You got any stains?